Imagine becoming the oldest person to cycle from Land's End to John O'Groats, only for a few years later someone to come along and steal that crown from you. Well, I'm here to meet Granny Maeve, who is planning to do the trip again now that she's a couple of years older. And she's going to take back that crown.
You're okay.
Yeah. But it's just our first step.
Yeah.
It's always the scariest, the first step.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, don't ask me about my granny or anything like that.
okay.
It's a joke. Right.
What about grandchildren? Do you have
Oh,
grandchildren?
yes, I have 3 grandchildren.
Oh, yeah. What are their names?
My daughter, Katie, who sadly died, had a son, William, who's nearly 25.
Yeah.
And he's a farmer. He's a big friend of Granny's, friend of his Granny. And I have 2 granddaughters who live in Glasgow. One's at uni and one's almost a chartered accountant. And they had quite a sad life, but that's another story.
But that's why you're Granny Maeve. So you're living up to the name.
Well, everybody just calls me Granny Maeve. William, here's your Granny. Granny Maeve, hello. There she comes, Granny Maeve. She's on her bike.
And what did you do before cycling? Were you
I was a nurse.
You were a nurse?
Yes,
Oh,
I was a nurse. And I did midwifery, and then I worked in the district nurse in Glasgow. And Glasgow's a lovely city, but it's some rough areas.
Yeah.
And I was working in the rough areas.
So how long were you a nurse for?
Oh gosh, I went back to nursing when I was 17 years after I had trained. My children were grown up and they were all doing their own thing. So I went back and did a night duty, just a night duty, because I didn't know everything had changed. Even a blood drip was different. And the nursing care, I thought, had changed quite a bit. But yeah, I didn't do it for long, a few years, and then I got on my bike and just enjoyed myself.
So you retired and then got on your bike, or did you start doing it while you were still working?
I did some things when I was still working.
Yeah.
Did I do Canada? I can't remember. I did some long distance once when I was still working.
You did Canada when you were 70, is that correct?
70, I cycled across Canada.
Right. When did you start cycling, and when did you start thinking, okay, I'm going to take this? You described yourself as a happy cyclist.
Yes.
When did you take the happy cyclist, Granny Maeve, to become
a long
distance?
51.
51.
51.
Okay.
I was. And before that, I was I always had a bike.
Yeah.
But doing crazy things like, cycling across Canada. People said, how are you going to do that? I want all your stuff. I said, well, I've got panniers, 4 panniers. That's the kitchen, that's the bathroom, that's the bedroom, that's the living room. I was the 4 panniers and carried all my stuff. And I loved that. I mean, I'd love to do it now because I'm quite old. And somebody said, but where would you sleep? I said, I think I could still get into my tent. I've still got the tent. And said, why don't you have a try? I might.
Well, go back to Canada and try that.
Back to Canada, no, maybe somewhere else.
Maybe
in Scotland.
Maybe come to Moffat. Maybe come to Moffat Club site. You can pitch a tent here. That's fine.
I could ask permission for that. I might say you're too old.
I don't think so. I don't think so. We allowed you in today, didn't we?
But I didn't have a tent and panniers. They might have sent me away.
No. We welcome all backpackers and all bikepackers, so don't you worry.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I've always been told never to ask a lady her age, but do you mind me asking how old you are?
No, I don't mind. I mean, I don't really think about my age much, but I had my 86th birthday a couple of weeks ago. I think it was I was born in 1938, so you'll need to work it out.
Well, I can't do that. I'm not clever enough. No. Let's go with 86 for now.
Okay.
So you have already cycled some incredible places. Canada, my understanding you did Australia as well.
Yeah.
You cycled from coast to coast in Scotland.
Coast to coast, and yep. Well, not coast to coast. No, Land's End to John O'Groats. Would you say that? No, I would love to go around the coast of Scotland, but somebody said it was 1,300 100 miles or something. The coast of Scotland. No, the coast of the UK.
Right.
Yes. But I don't know if I'll do that.
Okay. But you've done Land's End to John O'Groats. When did you do Land's End to John O'Groats?
Land's End to John O'Groats, the first time you see, my memory's not good. But I think it was about 5 years ago
Okay.
with my friend Heather. And we had a lovely time. And I'm doing it again on the leave on the 17th of August. And this time there's going to be a little film made of the
Oh, is that it?
night. Yes,
Who's doing that for you?
they're going to make a film, and it's a company. It's just two guys actually, and it's a company called Bring to Life. They've already made a film of me cycling, but most of it was in Scotland.
Oh, right.
So that's, yes, Bring to Life.
So if you've already done Land's End to John O'Groats, what's your motivation this time?
Because I want to, I had the record, the Guinness Book of Record, oldest lady. I mean, not the oldest person, you must remember. There's a man older,
90 years old, yeah.
Good. Did you know that? Did you look up?
I did look it up.
Did you know? Well, anyway, that's right. So I was the oldest female until this lady took the title from me. So I thought, no, we can't have this. So I decided I'm going to do it again and hopefully get the record back.
So how long is this going to go on for? Is she going to come back next year and do it again, and then you're going to go back? Or is this going to go on forever now?
Well, she might decide to take my record, but then if she decides to take the record in 4 years, I'll be about 100. And no, not quite 100, but I'll be older, and I might have to say, I don't think I can do it. But I mean, I hold it at the moment. No, I don't. I'm saying I'm going to break it.
No.
But if I break my record, then I'll just accept the fact that I was the oldest lady. Now this old lady's taken it from me.
It's one hell of an achievement anyway, isn't
Do you
it?
think so?
Oh, yeah. I cycled around Moffat club site earlier and got a bit out of breath. So I think you're doing a pretty...
Out of breath going down Moffat. You're just a young man.
It's a hilly place.
Oh.
You've clearly got some fantastic energy, and you were going to be stopping at a couple of the Camping and Caravanning Club sites on your journey, and I believe you're going to have someone following you with a motorhome and setting up a bed for you.
Yes.
But that must be nice, knowing that you've got some wonderful facilities to stop at along the way.
Of course, because we had a camper van for Land's End to John O'Groats the first time, and then the driver, in fact Angela, my friend Angela, drove the camper van in Abington. I can't remember where she went to, but she drove it, and we had such a lot of fun just laughing. And we've got all the drivers sorted out. In fact, there's one lady who's going to drive it most of the time.
Yeah. You've done the journey before.
Yeah.
There must have been some fantastic experiences along the way and some wonderful views. You must have ridden across some wonderful roads. Have you got any specific sections of the route that you really enjoyed last time that you're going to recreate?
Well, it's an awful thing to say, but when I crossed the border, I know that's a shame.
I don't blame you.
So Scotland, and Heather and I tried to sing. She knew the words for Scotland the Brave or something like that. And there was Scotland there. And she said, let's sing. So we sang and we crossed the border. That was wonderful. And the sun came out, funnily enough.
Just like it is now.
It did,
This is
just
amazing.
like this. It came out and we were singing and we were happy. And we were finished that day. And some fellows had joined us. And they said, now what you girls need is a little dram.
Oh, yes.
So
Absolutely.
we were finished cycling, we had got all our stuff sorted. We went to the nearest pub and the guy told the landlord, and up came the drams.
That sounds like a
Down
beautiful
the
day.
drams.
I couldn't think of anything better. You're obviously doing this because you want to get that crown back of being the oldest woman to do it. you've raised so much for charity. This time you're cycling for British Heart Foundation, and I think you've done some other charities in the past for some of these long rides. That's a very admirable thing to do. What's the inspiration for raising the money for charity?
Oh, well, I think, to me, well, cancer, my young sister, mum died of cancer. And, the Heart Foundation, I've got so many friends who have been affected. My young son had a heart attack at 43 and died. So that's, support them.
You've raised tens of thousands in the past. I think you're aiming to do a similar feat again this time. And I believe you have a Just Giving page.
Just Giving,
yeah. So we're going to try and direct everybody to that, and hopefully this will go live just as you're about to set off on that journey.
Yes. Granny Mavis
cycling on Just Giving.
Uh-huh.
But you've also, like we said, you've also done some cycling abroad. You did a bit in Australia.
Yes,
you've done a bit in Canada.
In Australia.
So what's your favourite place to cycle?
The favourite place? Scotland, funnily enough.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? I mean, Australia's lovely. It's very hot. I don't mind that. I mean, my friend and I were cycling in just over 40 degrees. But you create a little wind, and it keeps you nice and, not hot. It just takes the heat away if you have a little breeze. You create your own wee breeze, especially in that desert. In fact, I want to do the west coast of Australia, Kimberley, and I want to do that. That's one of the bucket lists.
Okay.
Haven't much time. But we'll see.
I don't know. You're doing okay. I'm sure we can set up a Just Giving page for that one as well. Get Granny Maeve to Australia.
Oh, that's good, isn't it? That's good. I like that.
So, I recently spoke to a cyclist called Vedangi Kulkarni who's cycled around the world, but she also did some cycling in Australia and in Canada. She actually said this, similar to you, one of her favourite places to cycle was in Scotland. She also said she was a big fan of Canada as well.
Oh yes.
What's the atmosphere like? What's the roads like? What's the views like as you're cycling through Canada? That must have been quite an experience.
Yeah, and sadly, my friend was cycling with a friend, and she took a funny turn. And she ended up actually in Regmore Hospital in Inverness. And she came back 5 weeks later with a pacemaker. But that 5 weeks, I was in Saskatchewan alone in my tent. And at night, you could hear the wolves and all. It was horrible because when you're in a tent, they're so near you.
Yeah.
Like wolves and animals I'd never heard, and I was a bit scared.
I bet.
But I managed.
So you didn't have to fight a bear?
I didn't know. I saw a few.
Okay.
But
wow.
they didn't. They ignored me. They must have thought she's too old. But and then some people stopped and asked me about my camping, and they said, "Look, we'd love to offer you. I got the garden tonight if you'd like, because in Canada it's very remote. Yeah. Saskatchewan, you can cycle 100 miles and there are no shops.
Yeah.
And she said you could have the garden if you'd like to put your tent out.
Lovely.
Yes. They had a beautiful big house. I thought maybe it would be nice to be in the house, but I was probably sweating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
So you're bike packing then. You've done quite a bit of that. What was your setup? What did you have?
Set up. What did I have?
Yeah. You must have had a tent.
I had my tent. I had all my clothes in it.
Yeah.
My chamois knickers.
And was it on a backpack, or did you have these bike?
4 panniers.
Yeah.
And a wee backpack.
And I think you said to me before we started recording that you don't tend to use the typical cycling garb.
Oh no!
So what's it?
Well, I mean,
are you cycling in these types of shoes?
Well, they have cleats. They have buttons at the bottom of their shoe, and the cleat thing. There's no pedals. It's just a thing like a big stone. Not a stone, but I don't know how to describe a cleat. but it's
Something that you
put
can
the
lock in.
shoe,
Yeah.
locks in,
Yeah.
and off they go. My friend Jackie has cleats, and all my friends have cleats, and all the people I cycle with have cleats and dropped handlebars. I've got butterfly handlebars, and they're lovely. I mean, I'm not away down there, and I'm not sitting up, but I'm just in a nice position on my bike. And people inquire about the butterfly handlebars. I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, if you can find a bike that suits you, and a couple of like panniers, like you said, that suit your bike, then it's really open to anybody, isn't it?
Oh,
You don't have, it doesn't need to be this exclusive club to bike packing.
No.
So you're going to be starting in Land's End.
Yes.
And yeah, we discussed earlier that you considered doing John O'Groats to Land's End rather than Land's End
Yes.
to John O'Groats. Yeah, why did you want to go back and do that same route again? Was it because that's what you tried before?
To do the same route again.
Rather than going...
Well, it's slightly different because I got a friend, Sheila, who's very good. She's done Land's End to John O'Groats and has a lovely route. So I think we're going to follow Sheila's route. And she was the one that said, why not John O'Groats to Land's End? And we said, well, we'll probably get the wind. And, we're going south. We're not coming, we're coming north and not south. So, but I've got wonderful cycling friends who help me.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have to push me along on my bike.
Thank God. That's a long way to push, isn't it? Well, that's what you need.
Yes.
Everybody needs a bit of help. Nobody can do any of these things alone. Yes. And you do have the support of the British Heart Foundation as well.
Of course,
they're helping you out. And,
yes.
And last time I think you had, was it Ineos was a sponsor?
Oh,
Have you got any specific sponsors?
We have Ineos again.
Yeah.
And we have Tunnock's biscuits. Do you know the biscuits?
I'm aware of those.
Are you aware of the Tunnock? They've been wonderful to us. Now we're going to go into the factory. We're going to meet the boss there on our way through Glasgow. Well, it's near Glasgow. So we're going in to say hi on our way up north. Albert Bartlett, they're the famous potatoes. He sponsored us. He gave us a lot of money. But I had to stand with a potato in my hand.
Yeah, so you do have a fair amount of support for this ride as well. So that's great to see.
Every Friday morning, I spoke to Stephen Jordan from the BBC.
Very good.
And we just laughed. I mean, he probably thought, I didn't know him, but he probably thought maybe, it'd be quite a serious conversation if she's doing this bike ride. But it was just fun.
Yeah.
And he's hoping to get me going again.
That's excellent.
Do the other bike ride.
That's great to hear.
Yes.
Yeah. So is that BBC Scotland or is it a national one?
Scotland, BBC Scotland.
BBC Scotland.
Yes.
Okay. So anybody, any of our members in Scotland can tune in to BBC Scotland.
Absolutely.
And listen
Got friends.
away.
Yeah.
Excellent.
BBC Scotland.
Oh yeah, that'll be a good chat to listen to.
Yeah, that'd be quite nice for Stephen too. Very handsome fellow.
Oh, I feel like I should be jealous. We've spoken a bit about you've raised a lot of money for charity. What's your target this time?
Let's go for £25,000.
Okay, fantastic.
But then when I say that, it be a bit higher. So 25,000.
25,000
for that.
Okay, so if anybody is watching, if anybody is reading in the magazine, if any of our members are interested, they need to go to Just Giving, Granny Maeve Cycling, and get you up to £25,000 for British Heart Foundation.
Yes, wonderful. That will do nicely.
Well, very best of luck.
Yes,
we're going to be following you along your way, and you're going to be camping at some of our sites along the way. So,
oh really?
You'll be coming here to Moffat, I believe. We don't want you just pitched up on the side of the road,
Oh no.
or sleeping in bus shelters. That wouldn't be good.
Doing that? No. We always go in. We like all the caravans here and the camper vans. We've got a lovely, lovely camper van. Now that's Tunnock's. They sponsored, they gave us quite a lot of money, and we spent it on hiring a camper van.
Excellent. Okay.
Which is £5,000.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's all going in the right direction.
It absolutely is. It couldn't be better.
Lovely.
Just as long as everybody is aware that I'm doing it for British Heart and we need the money.
Yes.
We need the money.
Yeah. Well done. Best of luck. And yeah, look forward to following the journey.
Yeah.
Good.